In this video, I'm going to talk about university. I'm from Canada, so we call it university. I feel like some of you guys call it college. University is your time to shine. You are going to make some of the best memories, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay, so I want to start off with a little example, but like, think of like a seat, okay? I was always that girl who I feel like high school was just like not my thing, and I really thrived in university. And I feel like I saw this quote the other day, and it was like about a seed, and it was like, when you plant a seed somewhere, and let's say it doesn't sprout, usually what happens is you blame the soil. We don't blame the seed and say, this fucking seed doesn't work. What usually happens is they'll take the seed out and they'll plant it in a different soil, and maybe there it'll bloom. Is it bloom? Grow? Sprout. It's kind of like a metaphor I heard the other day about like putting yourself in different environments, and how in one environment, for example, if you're the seed, you might not sprout. That might not be where you thrive and you grow, but it's not really your fault, and that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. But if you take yourself and you put it in a different environment, different soil, different surroundings, you can sprout there and you can grow. And I really feel like that was my experience when I went from high school, where I didn't sprout, to like university. So in this video, there's really just going to be two sections. We're going to talk about do's and don'ts in university, and we're just going to keep it simple. I am here for you to have the best time and make the most out of it. If you don't know me, my name is Neeti. I'm everything self-development, confidence, advice. I am your brown girl. So let's get right to it. The do's of university. Okay, the first one I'm going to start with is living on campus. Now, I want to preface this by saying I know that not everyone's circumstances is the same. Not everyone can afford campus. Not everyone can live on campus. Maybe it just doesn't make sense to live on campus because you're too close. Maybe your parents don't let you live on campus. I know that this is like not feasible for everybody, but if it is feasible in any possible way, if there is any adjustments that you can make to live on campus, I highly recommend it. And obviously I'm talking about more like Canada, America, but I'm sure in India as well. I just think that it's a completely different experience when you live on residence, because you are literally with friends, you are with people day in and day out. You are waking up with them, you are eating 3 meals a day with them, you're going out with them, you're going to class with them, you're crying with them, you're suffering with them. Living on campus is an insane experience in terms of like making bonds with new friends, new people, but also just like actually getting out of your shell and growing. When I was 18 and I was in the 12th grade and I lived with my parents, I was so sheltered. My parents did everything for me. I don't think I knew how to like literally blow my own nose. Like, not actually, but like I was so in my bubble, and I didn't think I could do anything without my parents. And when I went to university, you were doing everything by yourself. You know, you gotta manage your time, you gotta manage what you eat. If you're sick, you gotta take care of yourself. You know, you gotta manage exams, you gotta manage money. Like, there's a lot of different things that you learn just by like being independent. And I truly feel like in that first year of university, at the very least, live on campus. You're gonna make the best friendships, but you're just gonna grow as a person. You're gonna become so much smarter, so much more aware. You're gonna get so many more life skills. Highly recommend. It's crazy because I went to the University of Toronto, okay? I only live like 45-minute drive from Toronto. So grade 12, I was like, I can easily commute to this campus, save a lot of money, I have a car, like whatever. When I tell you, somebody told me, I really think, you know, for at least the first year, just go and live on the campus, see if you like it. Best decision I ever made. I don't think I would have had the friendships I have now. I don't think I would have had like the life skills. I don't think I would have grown this much. I don't think I would have had that much fun just commuting. Okay, this takes us to the number 2 for do's. Join the clubs and go to the events. I know this is going to sound so cliche, like I sound like your guidance counselor, but like genuinely, I never thought it was like important either until I actually look back. So I have like younger cousins who are just like starting university like a couple months ago, and like they didn't go to like events like Frosh. So in Canada and America, we have like this thing called Frosh, and it's like initiation, or like the first week of university where you're just like making friends, you're just doing all these fun activities, maybe with your program, maybe with like your college, maybe with just like different, your residents, I don't know. They just do games, there's like events all week, and it's really all about like mingling and meeting people. Listen, it's so cheesy, I know. Some of the games you have to play, like beanbag toss and shit, like I'm like, why am I playing this? But even if you're laughing at how stupid the games are, you are making friends. Think about it. You can be laughing over how stupid the activities are, and there you go, there's your friend. Join the activities, get involved. Like, I don't mean that you need to be president of like the business club and like do all these academic clubs, but like, for example, I studied psychology. There was like a little psychology association that we had. You know what? I made a lot of friends who liked similar things and like similar interests, because that's what I was studying. I made the best friends at Frosh. I went out of my way to do things that weren't even mandatory. Like, my university offered like this boat cruise in the first week of university that you had to pay for, and like it was kind of random, but like I ended up going with this one girl from my residence. We bonded so hard, we're still best friends, and I remember that day with her. So like, join the clubs, go to the events, because even if they're stupid or you don't want to put yourself out there, you think that, you know, your type of people aren't going to be at these events, you really never know. Like, you're so used to in high school just like cocooning yourself and like being comfortable with like people from your city, people that you grew up with from elementary school, but like out there because you actually never know who you're going to be. And like, what's the worst that happens? What's the worst that happens? You go to the event for an hour or two and like you didn't make a best friend. Okay. This takes me to my number 3 do. Find the extra stuff that is academically important. Okay. Highly, highly recommend. I know I'm not like, you know, your mom, but like, okay, I want to tell a little story. So in my university, there was, I have a science degree, by the way. So I kind of did like, I did psychology, but it's a science degree. And so in my university, there was something that I ended up digging around and hearing about and really finding out, which was called like an undergraduate thesis. So like you could do like a research project and get course credit for it. Listen, was it that advertised? To be honest, no. It should have been more advertised. Was it hard? Yes. Was it a lot of extra work, to be honest? Yeah, in some ways, but I mean, also, well, there was like no exams or anything, so it was like good and bad. I didn't even know my university had this, but luckily I found it in my 3rd year. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't love my undergraduate thesis. I didn't publish it. It is what it is, right? But I'm gonna tell you why that shit helped me. I got a job right out of university, and I've been in this job for 2.5 years now. And when I got that job, you know, I was like, okay, oh my god, it's a research job, because to be honest, that's really the only like jobs you could get with an undergrad in psychology here, at least in Canada right now, at that time. And I got that job right out of university, and I was so grateful because, you know, I was kind of stressed, like I needed a job, I needed money. And when I asked the hiring manager and the girl who I replaced why they chose me, the girl who replaced me just told me, she was like, you had like good research experience in your undergrad, and people don't have that. Nobody has that. She was like, it's a big deal to have research experience when you haven't even graduated. And I was like, really? Okay. So I really just think I got that job because I had that on my resume and other people didn't. Now, there are lots of other things that are not like academic. Like, for example, there is like a lot of universities offer like exchange, like foreign, like not foreign exchange, that's like exchange, like when you can like do a semester abroad. I never did it, but when I tell you, like, I think about that so much, and I'm like, I wish, even if I had to take an extra semester, like, whatever, bro. The fact that you're making friends in a different country, and you're, like, actually experiencing something, like, I have a friend who went to Australia, I have a friend who went to Europe. They, like, the amount that they've learned, and they've just seen life, and, like, you're there with students, so, like, you'll make friends, like, it's absolutely insane. Why are we not getting on top of these opportunities? Like, you will look back, even if it's uncomfortable. Honestly, I look back and I don't think I would have wanted to go live in a different country by myself for a semester at that time. But I look back and I'm like, bro, like, I should have just done it. Like, wouldn't that have been insane? So what I'm trying to say is get on top of these extra things. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to the don't. These are things that you should not do in university. Number 1 is think that you don't have to study. Okay, every university is different, every program's different, so like I don't want to like generalize, but like I was like a really high achiever in high school. I went to University of Toronto, which is, I would say, a harder university. Okay, I was like, these study habits that worked in high school did not work in university for me. Honestly, on university I had to really learn that I have to block out study time so I can like really focus, because just like skimming and trying to memorize some shit isn't gonna work. So yeah, like definitely understand that you do have to study. I'm not saying that, you know, everything you study is going to be useful, but I mean, if you want to get decent grades in university, like, you got to study. Like, I know it sounds obvious, but like, I didn't know that. Another thing that I kind of want to mention is like, in university, you're balancing so many different things, but also make room for fun. What I really did is I would like block out certain hours or certain days that I would study, and then like, let's say Friday after class, I just don't study, and like, that's when I go with my friends or I do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Monday to Thursday, I study from like 4 to 8. But like Friday, Saturday, for example, I don't, but then Sunday all day I study. I would say like you have to figure, you really got to time block and like take advantage of like, you want to have the most fun. You want to go out with the friends, you want to meet people, you want to have a blast, but you also have to study. So like really capitalize on the amount of time that you have. Now, the second thing I want to talk about in terms of don'ts is don't engage in hookup culture. I didn't want to talk about this topic, but you know what? I think that there are a lot of girls and guys out there who would actually benefit from this. At least in Canada and America, there is a lot of hookup culture that is just like the vibe and the how it is in university and college, right? It's a lot of like wildness, it's a lot of hooking up. What's that show? Blue Mountain State? Craziness, right? I think that it's so normalized. It's just like something everybody does around you. I know I was in university, it's just like that's what everybody does. Like, it's not shocking, it's not a big deal. Hooking up with people isn't a big deal. There's a lot of sometimes pressure too, like, why aren't you hooking up with somebody? Maybe there's guys pressuring you, maybe there's girls pressuring you. You know, I think that it's really hard to stay true to who you are. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, listen, I don't judge, like, do whatever you want, live your best life, but like, I generally think, like, if you're somebody's watching this video and if you're like my people, you're probably a little deeper than that. You're probably like maybe you don't just want to have random sex with people. You know, and if you do, that's fine. But I'm talking to people that don't necessarily feel good about it. You don't have to do it. And I know that it's hard, but like, you really don't have to do it. You don't have to do it just because everybody else is doing it. You don't have to feel like you should do it just because everybody else is doing it. In fact, I think that there is this level of value that you have to have in yourself and understanding that, like, I don't want to be somebody who did random hookups in university. I'm not saying you can't see somebody, you can't whatever with them, but like, if it is not leaving you feeling good after, if it's causing drama in your life, if you're feeling less than, there's a lot of girls that I would meet who, like, you know, they didn't talk to them after the hookup, they went ghost, they hooked up with another girl. It's just, I don't think in that age and in that time, most of the time, that kind of stuff is gonna leave you feeling like loved and like fulfilled. It's like, the hookup culture is not leaving you feeling like you're loved and fulfilled, okay? The guys are just immature, wilding out, the girls are wilding out, like, it's just, I think that stay true to who you are. If you don't feel good doing hookups, like, don't do them. Who cares, bro? You know how much more there is to life? In fact, you're probably saving yourself a lot of emotional fucking trauma. Like, just don't. Like, just don't do it. But stay true to who you are. And I mean that with everything. It doesn't just have to be hookups, but like, I don't know. Just, you don't have to do it. And I want to tell you guys that because it's like, I know a lot of people who feel the pressure to do it or feel like they just have to, and like, you shouldn't. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, which is a don't, is don't stick to your usual friends. Now, maybe you're going to college or university and you have your high school friends, and that's super cool. You're super lucky. You know, you're already going in there with friends. You know, there's nothing to stress about. You're not all alone. That's cool. That's fine. But definitely branch out, because the people that you're friends with when you're 16, 17, 18 aren't necessarily, like, the older you get, right, the more like kind of like narrow you get, the more specific you are about what kind of friends you want. Maybe the more specific your interests get, the less things you want to put up with. So just like open your mind. Like, when you meet people from all over the world, all over the country, like all over the state, who knows? Like, you could meet like your best friend. You could meet somebody that's exactly like you, that you vibe with. Like, you never know. Like, don't just stick to the friends that you came there with. And if you didn't come there with anybody, like, for example, I didn't know anybody who went to U of T. But even that, like, don't just stick to like maybe like the 1-2 friends you made in the beginning. Like, I definitely think, like, open your eyes to people that maybe you wouldn't normally be friends with. Like, I was a very, like, a little bit of, like, a stush. If you don't know what stush means, it's, like, a little stuck up, like, grew up in a small town, like, stuck to my, like, 4 girls, and, like, I was very, like, you know, I wasn't really open. I feel like in the first year, I really had to push myself to, like, talk to people I would never talk to. Like, my university had a lot of international students, and I never really experienced that because I lived in a very small white town in Ontario. Like, you know, I mean, I'm from India myself, but, like, not that I was, like, around a lot of immigrants. And so I actually think about this all the time, but like in my residence, like, you know, there were a lot of Indian, international, and Chinese, and I made really good friends with this one random guy. Mind you, I had like no guy friends before, and he was from India, and so like we just kind of talked about India and like whatever, but like I'm really whitewashed clearly. And it's crazy because I graduated 2 years ago, but I probably met him like 7 years ago. He owns a big business. He owns a big rooftop sky bar in India. He went back to India. And I'm actually flying there, and I'm gonna go meet up with him and go check out his sky bar. You make connections everywhere. Like, the amount of connections, not even just connections, it's like a genuine friendship, but like, you meet the craziest of people. I met people who were from Turkey. I met people from France. So when I went to France, I had a friend in France to show me around. I met somebody who works at this place that I needed, you know, to connect with. So funny, one of my friends from university, I'm an influencer now, I do PR, she works at a PR firm that I want to do brand deals with. Like, you know what I'm saying? You never know who you're gonna meet, and I do actually think that like the people you surround yourself with, they're probably like-minded, and you never know the connections or the friendships or like the way that they'll open your eyes. Like, these people that I met who were from all these different countries, because my residence had a lot of international students, it opened my eyes to the world. It opened my eyes to how other people are raised, how many people live in Dubai. It opened my eyes to like what an expat is. It opened my eyes to how independent they were coming all the way. Like, genuinely, it taught me so much. So don't just stick to your usual friend. Go out of your way and like make a conversation with somebody who maybe is a nerd, who's somebody that you wouldn't usually talk to, who's from a different country. Like, just do it. Like, what do you have to lose? You never know. And this is coming from somebody who like literally sees the benefits of it so many years later. Okay, babes. So that was a little bit of a longer video, but I really want you guys to have the best university experience. Like, I literally it breaks my heart when I see like people just, commuters being like, I don't have friends in university, it's so difficult, I don't really like have my people here, I hate university, whatever, I don't want to do my degree. Like, no! Make the best of it. And I feel like if you follow my do's and my don'ts, you'll have a better time. And university, when I look back, was the time of my freaking life. I don't know why I was so stressed all the time, to be honest. I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on school, but like, I had the time of my life. I still think my first year of university was the best year of my whole entire life. And I've been saying that. I'm 24 now. So follow my do's and don'ts. If you have any more questions, comment them. Let me know if you want to hear anything else about like specifics, maybe like study habits. And you can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I post a lot of shorter form content there. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye.